What's up, guys? So today we're gonna be doing a little tier list. It was honestly a crazy trade deadline. No one expected so many moves to happen, and we got the big Zubats, we got the big Jared Jackson. Although Giannis didn't get traded, but it was still a great deadline, and we're gonna rank each team based on how they did, based on their future perspective, based on their present sense. Can they win this year or not? So let's get started. So starting, we have the Houston Rockets. Okay. We're starting on quite a low note because they didn't really do anything. They made no trade. Actually, they made no moves. So I think I'm gonna give them a somewhat viable. They definitely needed to get a guard, somewhat of Drew Holiday and Mike Conley, or higher standards. Even people like Jared McCain. Maybe they just needed someone that can shoot the ball and can organize their offense. Like Reece Shepherd is great. Obviously, he's better than what I expected coming into the season, but they definitely did somewhat better. And next we have Miami Heat. This is an easy, horrible trade deadline. They didn't make any move. They're still a 500% team, and they have no, they're not clear on whether we're going for a high draft pick or are we trying to win this year. I don't think they're gonna win this year. And next we have the Charlotte Hornets, which basically was one of the busiest teams, sort of. They got Kobe White and Mike Conley, obviously, from that 3-team deal. And then they also got Ousmane Dieng from OKC, and they got Tyus Jones from Orlando, and then rerouted to Dallas. That's for some cash, probably, for cap space. And then they finally got Xavier Tillman. I'm going to give them decent because, honestly, they have a great young core right now. They just won 9 games in a row. They're, unstoppable. Yeah, I'm definitely excited going forward to see how they go. And next we have the Orlando Magic. Honestly, this is one of my favorite teams, but obviously Paula has been a disappointment. Bane has been alright, but I think they definitely overpaid on that. And all they did was send Kyle Jones away for some cash to free up the luxury tax. I think it's decent. I think it's decent because I still believe in this team. I think if they get their gears right, they can make a deep run potentially this year, next year. So yeah, I didn't think they need to change up their roster too much. And Toronto Raptors, they also didn't do a lot. They acquired Chris Paul, which they're obviously going to waive for cash reasons. And they also got TJD from Golden State Warriors. And honestly, TJD has been pretty good. They're missing someone in the front court, and TJD can help for sure. I'm going to give them somewhat viable. And next, we have a huge one, the LA Clippers. So, obviously, they sent James Harden for Darius Garland plus a second round. So, most of the people thought they are going to give a second round to get Darius Garland, but they actually got a second round. So, kudos to the GMs. They actually did a great job. And on top of that, they traded Ivica Zubas, Kobe Brown to Indiana for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 firsts and a second. And what's interesting about the firsts is that they have a 1-8, I believe, protected, and 21-30, I think, 15-30 probably. So if this pick lands in the middle area, like 7-15 from Indiana, then they can actually get a first round this year, which is great. I mean, it's great. And if they don't land a pick this year, it's going to become a 2031 first round unprotected. So I actually think they got a lot of value from it. I think this team, starting the season, having a horrible record, definitely needed, something to change it up. Honestly, I like Zubats, I like Harden, I like Kawhi, but yeah, if it doesn't work, it's time to break it up. And I think they got they got young talent, they got draft capital. I'm gonna give them better than before. Honestly, I think it's a great trade that for the LA Clippers. And the Minnesota Timberwolves. They acquired Ayo Dosunmu, Julian Phillips for Rob Dillingham, Lil Miller, and multiple seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna give this one I think decent because Rob Dillingham, I don't think he's really gonna break out at any point because obviously his size and other stuff. And Ayo is a nice guard. They're missing some sort of shooting guard, some sort of point guard, and Ayo can fill that gap. And I think this team's on the right track, but honestly, if they want to win a championship, if they want to become the Oklahoma City Thunder, they need some sort of change because with its current roster, I think probably make it to the West Finals, maybe West semifinals, but I don't think they're gonna win it all. So I love Anthony Edwards, but he's either gotta further improve his game or they need to get someone better. And next we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They traded Jerry McCain, obviously, to OKC for a 2026 first and 3 seconds. I don't know about this trade. I think what they could have got for McCain is honestly, like, I wouldn't say it's less, but I would say it's. I still wish they could have kept McCain because honestly they have VJ Ashcombe who's been playing great this year, and they have Quentin Grimes, they have Tyrese Maxey. There's some overlaps there, but I think they could have worked out something better in the offseason, and Jerry McCain is definitely an asset. I'm going to give them just somewhat viable because I think they definitely could have kept him. They're just not really using him right, and the guy just came back from a long injury break. He needs some time to get back to the tune, you know. And lastly, my home team, the Atlanta Hawks. They honestly got a shit ton of moves in. They got Kuminga body healed for Porzingis. They sent Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent and Vich Krejci for Reith and 2 seconds, and then they also sent they also got CJ and Corey Crisper for to get Trae Young to Washington, and they also routed Jock Landale, which dropped a 26-point triple-double, I believe, something like that, which was crazy. And I mean, this is kind of just how the Atlanta Hawks do, bro. Like, they don't know what they're doing with their trade. Like, they're getting all these Kuminga buddy healed, and then sending Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent. I don't feel like they have a clear direction in where they're trying to go. They're not tanking. They're not trying to win. This roster is not winning, and they're the same situation as Miami Heat. They're like a 500% team. Yeah, I hate this trade deadline. I'm gonna get them somewhat viable. And then Portland, they got Vich Krejci for Reith and 2 seconds. I think there wasn't much they could do about this team, but honestly, with their draft, they drafted Johansson, and they I feel like Rue Williams wasn't really a good fit on their team anymore, and somehow they didn't trade him. Okay, which is they have like four centers. I mean, they did trade Reith, which was nice, but I think they could have got way more active in this trade deadline. But I'll give them decent. And then the Boston Celtics. Okay, so they acquired Nikola Vucevic from Chicago for Anthony Simons. Honestly, I think they were gonna trade Anthony Simons no matter what, but just for who? I'm actually gonna give this one better than before because I believe Vucevic is a great piece to add, and no one expected the Celtics to be second in the East coming into this season, but somehow they are. And as I'm filming this video, the news just dropped. Jason Tatum is being put to the G League team, so this guy's nearing a return, which is crazy. And if they can somehow make a deep playoff run this year, this would be a winner kind of trade deadline. But for now, I'm going to put them at better than before. I think Vucevic is definitely a piece that they missed. And San Antonio Spurs, I'm just going to put in decent because they didn't really make any move, but they're in a great shape. They don't need to really do anything. And the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, this team was all about like Giannis, been trading away Giannis, and suddenly the guy's staying, and they're probably just gonna tank the rest of the season. Which, okay, I mean, all right, but I'm just gonna give them a horrible trade deadline. This team has had probably like the worst few years trajectory in the past like 3 years after they won the chip, obviously, and the Dame Lillard was a disaster, and now we got all this Giannis stuff going on. They waived Damian Lillard and got Miles Turner, and Miles Turner hasn't been great. It hasn't been too great, and they didn't really do anything at the trade deadline. So I'm just giving them a horrible trade deadline. I mean, they can try to tank to get a good pick, but I don't know if they're gonna make Giannis stay. And next, the LA Lakers. So they acquired Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent plus a second. I would say they're better than before. I think this is a great trade deadline for the Lakers. They needed somewhat of a shooter, and Gabe Vincent was just a sunk cost, so they had to get rid of him. I think Luke Kennard is quite nice, and I don't really expect this team to make it too far into the playoffs. They're probably going to be a first or second round team. There's not much expectation, and yeah, one of the biggest topics is where is LeBron going to go? Is LeBron going to retire? And I'm excited to see this team going forward without LeBron. Maybe they want to trade Austin Reeves too. I'm not too sure to get another star. Maybe they're looking at Giannis. This team is quite mysterious in terms of what they're trying to do, but yeah, I'm gonna put them at better than before. There wasn't that much else they could have done. And now let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets. So they got Ochai Agbaji plus a second. They got Josh Minot, and they got Hunter Tyson and a second. I mean, they did not really do anything, but they didn't get some draft capitals, and they got some young talent. This team is still in the process of rebuilding, after the KD, Kyrie, Harden era, and it's gonna be decent. Okay, and for the Phoenix Suns, they received Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey, and this team, I feel like, they're definitely doing better than most people expected. They're in the play-in probably, or 7th, and this team has been way better than expected. And I think this team has a lot of potential, but they didn't really do much at the trade deadline, so I'm just going to put them in somewhat viable. And then we got the New Orleans Pelicans. So they sent Jose Alvarado to Knicks for Dayton Terry plus 2 seconds and plus cash. So I do think that was an okay trade. Like, they didn't really need Jose Alvarado. They have Trey Murphy, they have Herb Jones, they have Zion. They have some young guards as well. So, I mean, I liked it. I'll just give them decent. And for the Detroit, they got Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric in a 3-team deal with the Kings. And the Bulls, they sent Jaden Ivey out. I don't really like this because I think they definitely could have kept Jaden Ivey, and I think what they got for Jaden Ivey is not decent, because Jaden Ivey was, before his injury, was a really good player, and now they just decided to randomly give him away. It's not like they're not winning, right? They're first in the East. They're actually tied for first in the league right now. So Jaden Ivey coming off the bench can definitely provide them some spark. I'm just going to give them a horrible trade deadline. I don't think Kevin Huerter is going to help him. They already have Duncan Robinson. They already have Tobias Harris. I don't know why they will want another Kevin Huerter type of player. So, yeah. But I do look forward to what this team's going to do in the playoffs. And the Washington Wizards, okay, we got a big one. So they got Anthony Davis plus Hardy, Russell Exum, and giving away 2 picks. Not to mention the picks are garbage. Basically, they have a Lakers pick and an OKC pick, which is going to be 30th probably. And earlier, they also got Trae Young for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Now obviously everyone's talking about the next year roster for the Washington Wizards. They have potentially they have Trae, they have Bilal Coulibaly, they have Alex Sarr, they have AD, and then they have Keontae George. I mean, honestly, that's a scary for starting 5, but it's up to whether AD can stay healthy, and I think people are massively underestimating Trae Young right now. I mean, I watched a lot of Atlanta basketball. Trae Young, although he's defensively, there might be some errors, but are the Hawks really defending better without him? I don't think so. It's not just his problem, and with a defensive guard like AD, like Alex Sarr, that can definitely make up for what Trae Young's lacking defensively. I'm gonna give this one a winner. This is gonna be our first winner. I believe they got a good thing going on. It's time for this team to stop with the tanking, and if they can get Darren Peterson, AJ DeBest, and Cam Boozer this draft, like, this team's gonna go insane. I'm really looking forward to what this team can do in the next season. And the Denver Nuggets, they sent Hunter Tyson plus a second for Brooklyn for a 2026 second. They didn't really do much. I'm just gonna put them in decent. I don't like the Denver Nuggets personally, but this team is good, and let's see what they can do in the playoffs against the OKC Thunder. And Dallas Mavericks. They got the Anthony Davis trades. They received Chris Middleton, some picks. Honestly, I'm gonna give them a decent because obviously they weren't gonna keep AD. I'm looking forward for them to trade Kyrie as well, or unless they want to keep him for Cooper Flag for the new draft capitals and the young talents. But yeah, this team definitely needs a rebuild right now. They're not winning with Anthony Davis, with Kyrie. They're all injured, and the team doesn't have great depth either. They're not winning. So I like the rebuild direction. They had to sell kind of low on AD, but it was a gamble, honestly. If you just kept AD, who knows if he's going to get injured again, and if he's just going to retire off medicals. No one knows what's going to happen. So I think they made a good move. A decent move, yeah. So, and then the Pacers. So the Pacers, obviously, they added Ivica Zubac. They gave away Mathurin 2 firsts and a second. Isaiah Jackson. I mean, I kind of don't like this trade because if you think about the 2025 Pacers, they sort of had a strategy where Miles Turner was sort of the Tyrese Halliburton was obviously the engine, but Miles Turner's were kind of like a flexible big. He could shoot, he could create space, he can do some agile stuff. But Zubac it's a completely different center. If you ever watched Clippers games, he's gonna block up a lot of space. He has no shooting. He's basically like a slow kind of the opposite of Miles Turner. So I'm interested to see how it's gonna work out with Tyrese Halliburton, one of the best assisters in the league. But I feel like they made a pretty big gamble, and we'll just see. We gotta wait till next year. So they're probably gonna shut Zubac down and not really play. So I'm just gonna give them decent as well. There's a lot of uncertainty about how they're building their roster. And then the Golden State Warriors, they're going straight here, okay? I don't think too much explanation is needed. They wanted to get Giannis, and they didn't get Giannis, so they panicked. And they just got Kristaps Porzingis, which, if you don't know already, Jimmy Butler is injured, Steph is injured. Now they're adding another guy who's going to be injured 90% of the season. So I don't know how that's going to go. Okay. So next we have the Utah Jazz. This was one of the more interesting teams. They acquired Jaren Jackson Jr. For a 3 first and a big package of players. So what I think about this is it's kind of similar to the Washington Wizards. These teams are trying to win. Right now they have Keanu George. They have obviously JJJ. They have Lauri Markkanen, and they have the Yusuf Nurkic, and obviously with Ace Bailey as well. I think they made an okay move. Like I don't expect them to be really good next year, but the core building foundations or the ideology is definitely there. So I'm gonna give them 8 better than before. And the Cavs. Oh, this is an interesting one. They got James Harden for Darius Garland. They got Shooter Ellis and Miller. I think. Well, first of all, I think the Shooter and Ellis one is great. That one is great. To fix up some of the Garland space and getting James Harden. I think the Cavs are just really desperate at this point. They're trying to build a Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, Allen, and possibly Jaden Tyson or some sort of some other wings they got. And honestly, I feel like with the weak East this season, I think they can. Honestly, I do see the vision. If they can somehow make it out of the East, that would be a very successful trade. But as you know, Harden is known for his underperformance in playoffs. So there's a lot of uncertainty about how they're doing in the playoffs. But I'm just going to put them in better for now. I like this trade. Darius Garland wasn't working. The Mitchell-Garland kind of duo wasn't it. Because, well, they have great offense, but the defense was just lacking. I'm not saying Harden is any of a better defender, but at least he has the size, At least he has the size. And then the OKC, they got Jared McCain for first. Honestly, nothing else to say about this. They're just the rich keeps getting richer. Like this applies everywhere in life, and it definitely applies to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And yeah, not much explanation there. The New York Knicks, they got Jose Alvarado for Terry, 2 seconds in cash. They also traded Dayton Terry for Gorshon Yabusele. And I mean, there's some sort of niche moves. I mean, I think the team is solid, but I don't expect them to win this year. Especially, we got the Boston Celtics, we got the Cavs, we got the who else is in the East? We got the possibly the Sixers, but I don't think this team is probably gonna be top 3, top 2, but I don't think they're making it out of the East. So I'm just gonna them somewhat viable. And Chicago Bulls, okay. This team got a lot of deals done. They sent Kobe White, they sent Vucevic, and they sent Jalen Terry, and they also sent I think that's it. And they got Simons. They sent Ayo Dosunmu to Timberwolves, obviously. And in return, they got Jaden Ivey, they got Anthony Simons. I don't know if you guys seen the Bulls game after the trade deadline. They have a ultra small 5 lineup. They have Jaden Ivey, they have Anthony Simons, they have the other guard. Who's the other guard? Jaden Ivey, and someone else. It was whatever, and it was Buzelis and it was Gershon Yabusele. That's a smaller one than the 2016 Warriors. That is crazy. And none of these guys are really outstanding in any way. I mean, they are good players, Jaden Ivey, Anthony Simons, but yeah, I don't know what they're doing, man. I'm gonna give them a horrible trade deadline. Like, if they can score 140, they're gonna give up 160 points. There's no way the 3 guards is gonna work. They're not Steph Curry, they're not Klay Thompson, and honestly, I don't know what they're doing. And I mean, trading away Vooch was alright, I guess, but getting Anthony Simons, I don't really get it. And Vooch had an expiring contract anyways, so. And finally, we move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. Honestly, I like the trade. I liked them trading Jaren Jackson. I just want to see them trade Ja Morant as well at this point. And they got a lot of assets, honestly. They got 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson. They got 5 firsts for Desmond Bane. So this team is fully in the rebuild now. I'm not actually going to give this one better than before. I do feel like they're in for a rebuild, and they're definitely trending in the right direction. And the Kings. The Kings, they got DeAndre Hunter by giving away people like, who did they give? I think it was Schroeder, Ellis, and Miller. Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Hunter has been underperforming a lot this year, and yeah, I'm surprised that the Kings didn't trade Russ. They didn't trade DeRozan. Maybe that was made movable, but they could have definitely traded Russ. Like, yeah, this team is like Chicago. It's like the Heat. They really don't know what they're doing. They cannot win, and they're not really trying to create a better future for themselves. So yeah, straight up to a horrible trade deadline. Okay, so yeah, that sums it up for my tier list. And honestly, I'm very excited for the playoffs this year. We're gonna see how it shapes out really. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.